Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the Reborn 13 podcast with the Genie. And today, do I have a podcast lined up for you guys which is very likely to absolutely blow your minds, because today we are going through and deep diving in to the essence and meaning and utilization of numerology in the universe and in life itself. And this podcast has been heavily requested. I've had messages, I've had tweets, I've had so many comments on my previous videos as to go into the numerology and the meaning behind some of the numbers and the effect they have on you in your life, in your existence, and in what we are seeing unfold in the world at large right now, especially with regards to XRP in the financial system, because I know that a lot of you have come in to the scope of things with regards to XRP and the crypto sphere without any prior knowledge on numerology, and then you're seeing all of these numbers and timings correlated to certain events, and it's not making too much sense to you. So what I'm going to do with today's podcast is try and provide clarity on that, whereby you can understand the depth at which numbers play and their roles in the events and the timings of certain so-called coincidences, etc. So without further ado, I'm going to move straight into this because I know people like the shorter intros so that we can get straight into what is important, which is the actual podcast itself. So we're going to go straight into the meat of it. Now, the disclaimer is here today. I'm not going to run through this because it is numerology, and obviously I've been through this before, and obviously pause here if you want to and read through it. However, this is kind of self-explanatory for today. All of the views are my own. It's all my perspective upon truth, and I just want to put this information in front of you so that you can hopefully progress and grow in your understanding of life and the universe and yourself, and then be able to actually spiritually develop mental and physical, emotional mastery from that, so that you can live in harmony, joy, happiness, love and peace. It is that simple. And obviously if I speak about the financial system, again, perspectives, but no financial advice, as I am not a financial advisor. Anyway, let's get straight in to what we are going through today. Now, as you can see, I have prepared a whole load of pictures for you in preparation for this podcast, because I want to give you the broadest illustration of how deep the numbers go and how much of a role they actually have within your sphere of reality. So to begin, I just want to read you two very famous quotes, yet still very integral to what is what we're going to talk about today. So, Galileo: mathematics is the language in which God has written the universe. And Nikola Tesla: if you only knew the magnificence of the 3, 6 and 9, then you would have the key to the universe. Now, these are two prominent figures within our history, and the majority of you would have heard of them before if you have done any research into human civilization of past. And there is a fundamental truth to both of these quotes, in that numbers are the language through which the universe is coded. Okay, it can now actually be proven that the atomic structure and the way in which atoms move is coded by numbers, and that numbers comes from the infinite intelligence of God. And when I say the infinite intelligence of God, I don't mean the concept of this God which most people picture in their heads as soon as I use that word. I mean the infinite, boundless, eternal nature of our soul, which is incomprehensible and unconceptible that you cannot possibly begin to fathom, out of which all universal creation spawned. And it is that which gives the intelligence to these atoms, which is the foundation of all intelligence, and it is through number which they are coded, and it is that number which gives the order out of the chaotic nature of infinity. So, to keep it moving, how does this tie in? Now, 369 is the key. Now, what does 3, 6 and 9 actually represent? So what I'm going to do is bring up a few pictures here to help illustrate all of this. 3, 6 and 9. Without going into too much detail, because this podcast will be too long, the 3 and the 6 and the 9 are all correlated intrinsically, and they are correlated with the source, the center, which is 0. And 0 again is that boundless, infinite, eternal intelligence. The 3, the 6 and the 9 represent the foundation of the order which spawns out of that intelligence. Now, you could almost conceptualize the 3 as the being, the 6 as the doing, and the 9 as the harmony and balance of both. And that is what you're seeing with the famous yin yang symbol here, that the number is what represents a conceptualized meaning within your actual life itself. And it is the 3, 6 and 9 that if you can utilize as a concept to elicit balance and order and harmony within your sphere of reality as you act and as you be in the world, then you are able, or you are going to live in harmony with all things. And that is what's going to allow you to actually create order out of your own chaos and become a master of your reality. Again, as you can see here, the 3, 6, 9, energy, vibration and frequency, they all tie in together. They all are derived from the same source, yet they all have different meanings, and it is about balancing those meanings together to create a greater whole. Here was a great illustration. You can see the torus field, which is what emanates from your heart center, your heart chakra. How you can see even in that you have the yin and yang symbol, and that is potentially where this was originally derived from. And I just think that's a beautiful illustration there to show you the deeper meaning behind some of these symbols that have come out of our ancient history. Now, to keep this moving, because again, I don't want it to be too long, here is an illustration which actually blew my mind, and I'm not going to run through this, but again, this was by Nikola Tesla and his map to multiplication, and you can see the depth at which numbers have and the correlations of each, and how they all interlink together to form certain symbols, to form certain shapes, and how that all spawns in the greater whole to develop the shapes that you see with your eyes, to develop the colors, to develop everything within the physical universe. Now, the 3, 6 and 9, again, balance, harmony, as you can see here, water, earth, air, fire, feminine, masculine, how it is all tied together, that all the numbers are a representation of yourself, and that is about understanding the numbers and what they represent conceptually, that then enables you to utilize their power so that you can apply them to yourself to retain and restore balance both in yourself and the world, because that is what this all boils down to. Now here you can see, which is the 11 laws tree of life, and this is the original tree of life from the ancient Egyptian spiritual teachings, their pathway to spiritual mastery. And you can see here how each part of the tree is numbered, and they all interlink together to form a greater whole. Now, if you have read the 11 Laws book by Ra'un Nefer Amen, you will understand exactly how they all correlate and how they all actually play a part within your spiritual development. And that is a book which I highly recommend you going to read if you haven't done so already. But making yourself familiar with the 11 laws will hugely impact your reality, because what it will do is it will give you a foundation and basis of how to implement number within your sphere of reality, so that you can become a master of the events and of the meaning of what arises, because also the numbers are messages, but we're going to get onto that in just a little bit. You can see how the tree of life ties in to Metatron's cube. As you can see here, you have the spheres again all linking in together. Now, what is Metatron's cube? Metatron's cube is a sacred geometric structure which all Platonic solids exist within, and it is one of the foundations of sacred geometry, which gives rise to nearly all the patterns with which you see within our physical reality. Now, this is just a beautiful illustration which I found, which I just wanted to bring up because it's obviously based upon Metatron's cube, but just showing how even the planets and the solar system is linked numerically and also within the sacred geometric structure of the universe. Now, on to the number 13, the 13 sacred keys. Now, these keys could be said to be the sacred laws of God, of the universe, and that if you live and understand by these laws, you will always live in harmony and you will always have an abundance of peace and prosperity and love, which obviously all emanates from the heart chakra. And 13, obviously, as you may know, has been a number which has been inverted and demonized throughout the last, however far back it goes. But obviously you've got Friday the 13th and the unlucky day and all of these particular things to obviously mess with your mind so that you live out of harmony. But really what the number 13 is a sign of completion. And as you can see here, the following illustration depicts the process of moving through the 12 spheres and entering the portal or vortex of the 13 spheres. And now, I want to read you this. The link between Pythagoreanism and medieval and Renaissance occultism is evident in the following extract from Agrippa's Kabbalah. Boetius has said, everything which since the beginning of things was produced by nature seems to be formed according to numerical relations issued from the wisdom of the Creator. Numbers are the nearest and simplest relations with the ideas of divine wisdom. The power of numbers in living nature does not reside in their names, nor in the numbers as counting elements, but in the numbers of perceiving knowledge, formal and natural. The one who succeeds in linking usual or natural numbers to divine numbers will operate miracles through numbers. Everything connected to 13, a little video to show you here. As you can see, even the timings of our calendars is directly correlated to the 13, the number of completion. For those of you who have done a little bit of research into the zodiac as well, there is potentially 13 zodiac signs, and that the 13th has been hidden from us because, again, they have created a new calendar which is out of harmony with our previous divinely created calendar, which came out of the roots of human civilization. And I'm not going to read this to you, but if you want to pause and read through, you can see how that is divinely correlated. The history of 13. The number 13 has many meanings and interpretations in different religions and parts of the world. Here are a few of them. In Hindi, it is called as Tera, which means yours. It represents your karmas. In the spiritual context, it could also mean that everything belongs to the one God creator, including the soul presence in every human being. What the readings say, as per angelic number readings, it means angels are also with you. Also, according to the reading number 13, ascended masters ask that you stay positive and give them any fears or doubts that they can heal and transmute. This also means that the sacred feminine, the goddess and intuitive side, there are 13 moon cycles in a year. The number 13 brings the test, the suffering and the death. It symbolizes the death to the matter of oneself and the birth of the spirit, the passage onto a higher level of existence. 13 is the number which is the representation of the gateway to your higher self, to harmony, to flow, to balance, into spirit. Now, let's keep this moving. As you can see, the cycles of time, the days and nights of Brahma, the life of Brahma, 311 trillion years. For those of you who are XRP fans, you will notice that that's an integral number, but we're going to come back to that. 4.32 billion years. Again, 4.32, a very integral number, but we're going to come back to that. And you can see again how the numbers, all of them, have divine relations and they all interlink with each other. The ancient cultures knew this and they built their societies upon this. Now what I want to do is take you over here and bring you to the Ethiopian calendar. Now the Ethiopian calendar is based upon 13 months rather than 12, and also very interestingly, its new year is or falls on September 11th. Now you have to ask yourself, why has integral events happened on that day? Now if you want more understanding of the origins of the Ethiopian civilization, I'd highly recommend going and reading these 3 books. I have mentioned them before, but I'm going to bring it back up again. I've done a review on it here. This is on my Instagram if you want to come over and check this out. But read these 3 books. They're very small and they are very easy to read and just provide you with the insight that you need to understand the true origins of civilization, of humanity. Now, the 9/11, what does that mean? I'm going to go back and forth from left, right and centre here, guys, so I hope you're staying with me as we go through this. Why am I bringing this up? Neo 113911. As you can see, this is from the Matrix movie. Now the Matrix, the first one, was recorded or released in 1999, and on Neo's passport you can see the date of expiration is the 11th of September 2001. Date of birth the 13th. Again, Neo is an anagram for 1. Are they trying to wake you up that the divinity of you and that these ancient civilizations knew of this? Potentially. Now how does that correlate in with XRP and the 311 and the 911? What you can see is, if you have gone and watched my previous podcasts, you will know how this XRP shift is tied in to the awakening and rebirth of humanity, and that the 113 is the mirror of the 9/11. And what have we been told by the Riddlers moving west to east? What we are doing is we're returning to our origins, okay? The Ethiopian origins of civilization, where once again we build a civilization that lives in harmony. So the 113 and the 13 is a signification that XRP is an integral part to that shift of the rebirth of humanity, bringing back the consciousness that retains and restores harmony, balance and peace. So the 13 and the 113 is all interlinked with XRP, because XRP is the signification of the storm, which is going to allow us to destroy the old world and give birth to a new, whereby we are able to then go and birth this new civilization. And the 113 is the mirror of the 911, which is the start of the Ethiopian New Year. So it is all about the mirror, the reflection of you, that you essentially are the 113, because the 113 is the mirror of the 911, which is the mirror of the harmony of civilization living within this earth and the universe and the greater whole. As you can see, to go back, to flip-flop over everywhere, 6 powerful solfeggio frequencies that raise your vibration. So again, you can see familiarities with the numbers and how they can actually affect your states of mind and your brainwave frequencies, which will then have different effects in your body. And these frequencies, again, are linked to your chakras. And each of your chakras has certain tones which resonate with it, which link into the colours. Again, the foundation of the intelligence of the creator, and how the numbers of the universe and out of what the universe spawns is divinely correlated to number, because it determines the vibrational frequency, which determines the sound and the light and the colour, and then you can actually heal yourself through that. You can actually rewire your being and going back to the balance and harmony, retaining that flow. Again, I'm going to bring this up. Very similar to what was said before. However, I'm just going to bring this up so if you want to pause it and have a read through to gain a deeper understanding of yourself. And now, here you can see divine numbers. Now, the numbers can be potentially interpreted as messages, which will enable you to understand if you are traveling in the correct direction within your reality, and they can be used by your higher self, by your soul, to try and guide you through synchronicity, through so-called coincidence. And here you just have a good illustration of particular numbers and what they could potentially mean when you see them on a regular basis over certain periods of your life. The ancient cultures knew all of this. The circumference of the outer circle of the Egyptian pyramid, circumference of the inner circle, the difference in circumference. The difference in the circumference equals the same as the speed of light. It was actually built in to the Egyptian pyramid, because the pyramid is a signification of our divinity, and the ancient cultures knew this, so they actually built with the numbers and the sacred geometry into their structures, whereby the actual message could not be lost because it was set in stone. Now this is absolutely mind-blowing, because not only does the circumference of the outer and the inner circle in the difference equal the speed of light, but also so does the tip at the point, the coordinates equals the speed of light of the Great Pyramid. Too fascinating. To keep this moving, the hyperlinked Bible. Jordan Peterson described the Bible as the first hyperlinked text, that is, the first text to comprehensively refer to itself throughout the entire structure in an extensive series of internal relationships. Why am I bringing this up? Because what this does is it all ties in to the Gematria. Now, a lot of you who follow the Twitter XRP community will understand how much this is used. Now, the Gematria is an alphanumeric code of assigning a numerical value to a name, word or phrase based on its letters. A single word can yield multiple values depending on the cipher used. Now, every word in the English language has a numerical value. Every letter has a numerical value, and that actually spawns back to an ancient language with which the English language was built upon. And actually all of our text will be interlinked with, and that's how you can develop certain phrases and certain meanings from this Gematria, because of the interlinked nature of language. And even language is coded by number. 33. The 33 is a representation of the vertebrates in your spine, and as many of you will know, the 33 is very much associated with Freemasonry and their stairway to heaven, and this is where it came from because of the spine. So again, it is directly and divinely correlated, yet our perceptions of what it actually means always varies because of the propaganda we have seen online. The 33 symbolizes the energy rising up your 33 vertebrae, going up to the brain where Christ consciousness dwells. 666. This is the most inverted number on the entire planet. 666, all it represents is the 6 electrons, the 6 protons and the 6 neutrons which make up your body, the carbon atomic structure. You are the beast. Yes, it is the mark of the beast. You are the beast, the body, but you are not trapped or confined to the body. You are the spirit essence, which is infinite, but for this life, you have become the beast. Now, don't see it as a negative thing. It is inversion. It is what they want you to believe. You've got to look past the programming. All the 666 means is a representation of your carbon atomic structure, that you are formed. You are a star, my friend. You were formed from exploding stars. As you can see here, the Fibonacci sequence, this goes back to the 3, 6 and 9. Again, how it's all coded together, and even up to our galaxies, our storms, and down to the smallest formation of our cells. The 3, 6 and 9 is in everything, even down to your brain itself, and obviously the all-important pineal gland and the pituitary gland, and even the structure of your body down to even your fingers and your DNA. It is all coded by number. Now guys, I'm going to bring it to a close there because I have been blabbering on. Again, I don't know how much sense this podcast made, because when I'm putting it all together, I'm just jumping back and forth from here to there to everywhere. But what I hope is that in this podcast you have developed more insight into how numbers play a role within your reality and how important they are to you developing a reality that is in harmony, flow and balance, and that essentially what the numbers are just conceptualizations of yourself, and that it is you who decides how you want to intuit them and how you want to utilize them to create more power and to be able to go out into the world and make a change for the better, to serve the universe and all life itself. So if you did enjoy, please do not forget to leave a like on this video, as it helps me out a bunch. Make sure to comment any suggestions for any more videos or any comments on this video down below, and to head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe to my YouTube for more videos to come just like this one. Obviously, if you haven't done so and you have become a bit confused from today's podcast, make sure you go back and check out all of my previous videos, because they will greatly expand your awareness as to the great shift which we are currently going through. Make sure you go over to my Instagram, follow me on my Instagram at reborn13, because I'm going to be constantly posting content on here, and also head over to my Twitter at reborn13, because on there I'm always adding more material when it comes to the awakening. But guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Again, please make sure to leave a like on the video if you have enjoyed, and I love you so much if you are still listening and you have made it up to this point. I am constantly thinking of new ideas to create for new videos, so make sure to subscribe, because there's always going to be more awakening content with the Genie on its way. Thank you for the support. Thank you for all the love on all of my social media channels. I will be back soon. Have a great day. Stay blessed, stay loving, and